Campaign 2020 is sponsored by Wisconsin Hospital Association, Quick Trip, Wisconsin Counties Association, Wisconsin Realtors Association, and Wisconsin Operating Engineers Local 139.
Andrew McKinney of Cottage Grove is a Democratic candidate running for the 16th State Senate seat. The primary is August 11th. Mr. McKinney, welcome to WisconsinEye.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I was kind of intrigued by something that was reported by Madison 365. You said you were, if you were quoted correctly, you were not running as a Republican or a Democrat. Could you give me a short context of that, sir?
I actually announced as an independent on sheer anger. I was so tired of how Republicans and Democrats have been treating each other, no respect. Nothing's getting done. It's always bickering. But then as I continued, it was very clear to me that this is a two-party system.
Okay.
So this when I made that decision to go as a Democrat.
Okay. I appreciate that. Let me ask you about if you're a state senator and the governor's right, and we're going to collect $2 billion with a B less in tax collections because of the pandemic. You're a senator with tough decisions. Do you cut spending, or do you raise taxes or fees? Where would you be on that?
You know, that is that's very, very tough. Coming in as a freshman, as a senator, you know, I would have to look at all avenues. You know, we look at that schools will be losing money. Medicaid is going to expect to increase. And property tax, you know, that's another thing that's going to happen. There's just so much. And to me, as I work as a president of the school board, it's almost like, for me, I would like to hear what my constituents would do at this time.
Okay.
I want to hear from them and give them like a Google, like one of those Google form surveys to say, what are you willing to give in this type of situation?
Okay.
It's just like a referendum almost.
Okay.
You know, we ask our people and then we make these certain decisions and conclusions.
Okay.
No one's been in no pandemic like this before.
Right.
This is a brand new thing, and we learn as we go. And I actually commend both parties on trying to do what they can. However, it's going to be very, very tough, and we're going to have to ask the Wisconsinites to help us to help make these great decisions so we can move on from it.
Okay. New subject. Americans know a lot more about how some police officers treat those in custody than we did 2 months ago. The Governor Evers has recommended the 9-bill package. It would ban chokeholds. It would ban no-knock warrants. It would set universal training standards for those that want to be police. Do you support the governor's package of bills, or do you think it doesn't go far enough?
I support that, and I would expand on it. As a Black man, I have been born in a pandemic of being Black. And I've seen this going on forever. COVID-19 has woke up America after George Floyd. But I've seen this happen on a daily basis. And I always fear for my life. My son is 10 now. When he was 6, I got pulled over for speeding. It was on Thanksgiving. I remember that well. And my son, who always wanted to be a police officer. However, he said, "Dad, are you going to get shot?" And he started crying. And that was 4 years ago. So they're great police officers. I served my country. I served and defended my country. The police are here to serve and protect. It doesn't need bad apples in there. So there's some mental health issues with a lot of the police officers that come in. we need to know more about their history before they even come on the force. I think that the community need to be involved in some of the hiring process. The training, there's so much worldwide training for police officers. Learn from some of these areas of how their crime rates are low and how they treat people, and bring this to the table. So I would not just, agree with Governor Evers. I would actually expand on it. So when they say defund the police, no, don't defund, reallocate funds. Keep it where it is. We have some great police officers, because I wouldn't be here today if we didn't.
Understand. Another subject that's always introduced, where do you stand on legalizing both medical and recreational marijuana, sir?
That would be a great game changer for this state. The funds that we could make to put into expanding of Medicaid, education, helping all of our seniors and people that's on fixed income, low income areas, the funds that can be made from this is phenomenal. Also, it helps out people like myself who live in pain. I'm a disabled veteran. I would love to have CBD and all like that right now. It's because you're doing it the right way. We need to legalize this. We honestly need to bring money to this state so we can get better programming out here to better everyone in the state.
Thank you. The debate over who should draw the next congressional and legislative boundary lines, Mr. McKinney, the Constitution says the party in power will draw them, but the governor has recommended a people's commission, which would draw it and then forward it to the lawmakers to be enacted. Who's right?
I don't believe any party every time when they take over should do it. This is not a one-party system. Okay. There should be, as I have stated, that it should be an equal, nonpartisan process. Okay. I support reforming on how Wisconsin draws legislative and congressional district boundaries. And it should be that way and just stay there without being messed with anymore. It should be fair. It should be level, and it should stay for hundreds of years. It should never be bothered again.
Yeah, understand. As president of the Monona Grove School District, you wrestle with the issue of property taxes. Wisconsin is a high property tax state, but school districts, local governments live with revenue caps, and although those can be exceeded with referendums. My question is, if you're a state senator, would you vote to eliminate those caps and limits on property tax revenues, sir?
When I was looking at capping it, a lot of school districts want to better have the opportunity to better their school districts. So eliminating the caps at a certain extent to give school districts the opportunity to make their school districts better. And as long as the people are voting on these referendums to say, we want this for our school, we want this and that, I'm all for it. So I wouldn't cap it. I would probably eliminate it depending on what school districts, what do they want for their school districts. They should not be shut down in this world of education. Things have changed. This is not the traditional style of teaching anymore. There's a lot of innovative ways, cost-cutting ways. And we're going to find out here shortly, because we're not going to be in a traditional style anymore. We're looking at hybrid. We're looking at online. We're going to find innovative ways, and we may find cost-cutting in that as well. Okay. So I believe that we should eliminate it and let the school districts decide on how much they want to put into their own school districts.
Do local governments, because they rely so heavily on property taxes, do they need alternative sources of revenue? If we broaden the 5% state sales tax to include some exempt products and services, or should local governments and not just counties have the ability to levy a half-cent sales tax? Do local governments need alternative revenue options, Mr. McKinney?
Yes, you read my mind. I actually was saying that for a long time, that our state sales tax has been at 5.5 for a long time. And I think a little 0.5% can really fluctuate and bring that would ease property taxes on a lot of people. Also, it would ease taxes on people that's on fixed incomes. The sales tax and having that area where we put sales tax on certain items and things, I think will really boost this economy up, and we can get revenue to put into other programming and help out fellow Wisconsinites.
The debate over how to provide a stable funding source for highways. The governor recommended raising our gas tax, now 30.9 cents per gallon. Hasn't been increased in 10 years. Could you support raising the gas tax, sir?
I would support it, but not at that amount. I think we need to really start doing like levels. As you know, because inflation happens every year, and you want to look at that, and then you want to see if you're able to do it. See, a lot of these things just don't go out there and just say, put it out there, boom, and then all of a sudden we go into a little recession. We want to take things as a step, little baby steps to get the economy moving and get some revenue here to do other things in Wisconsin.
A couple questions on the pandemic. It hurts local government and state governors, state government tax collections. It also more reliance on healthcare providers. We've all seen the frontline role played by hospitals in the pandemic. If you're a state senator voting on the next state budget, do hospitals deserve a greater priority than they may have gotten in the current budget, sir?
Absolutely. Like I said, I am a disabled veteran who served my country in the Gulf War. And I was here to protect and serve. And here are healthcare workers, frontline workers that really need, I know they've been working tirelessly hours, not able to see their families, maybe have to quarantine themselves when they come home, and probably not even able to have a good meal. I've seen a lot of charitable groups out there who deliver free meals to these frontline workers. So yes, I would definitely, when this pandemic can slow down and be over, I would definitely sign some legislation to help them out in every way we could.
Do we need a state law that says if a business has complied with all the COVID safety and health precautions, they cannot be the subject of a frivolous lawsuit?
Yes. I agree.
And the reason?
Well, when you're following rules and laws, you shouldn't get punished. That's just the bottom line. I don't even have to go really that far into. If you follow rules and regulations, you should not be punished. And if you're still continuing to do it, you're a shining example, and maybe other businesses can learn from business like that follows the rules and regulations to get to flatline COVID-19 and reopen this state and then get to a little bit of some normalcy.
Your school district has been engaged in some pretty major building projects. Here's my question: when local governments are approving these major public works projects, should there be standards and other requirements giving preference to Wisconsin businesses? And here's why I ask. A study found in 2015, out-of-state contractors got $72 million in local government public works contracts, but that more than doubled to $146 million in 2018. Local governments have to give a preference to Wisconsin companies, sir?
Yes, absolutely. This is Wisconsin. everyone in Wisconsin is supposed to have an opportunity to work and make fun. They have to feed their families too. Okay. And for training purposes, if you're looking to start training people, there's a lot of people like myself who used to be in that low income, impoverished area who didn't have an education at the time. There's a lot of opportunities to train people to be into steam fitters, sheet metal workers, all of this stuff. They deserve, Wisconsin people deserve these contracts and deserve to work to make a living for their families way before we start bringing in people from the outside. It should start here at home.
Okay, 2 final questions. We've talked about a lot of issues. Is there any other issue that is central to your campaign that we haven't touched on that you may want to mention now? Anything come to mind?
You know, my whole campaign is about education, veterans, and community, dealing with healthcare. And the number one thing is the racial disparities that we have here.
Okay.
So racial disparities within our communities, not giving the hopelessness that have a voice. I was one of those people. So now running for state senate, I am a voice for all those folks out there who have not had a voice and never was looked at and talked to from other representatives. I'm their voice now. And even however this falls out, everyone was able to hear my voice finally. Okay. And so I come out the winner. August 11th, win or lose, I still come out the winner because I was able to talk and say my piece, to say what is going on in the state and how we can fix things. And hopefully that everyone get there and vote for the candidate that best fits you. I just hope it's me, because I think that I will be a great a change maker for the state.
Thank you. Andrew McKinney of Cottage Grove is a Democratic candidate in the 16th Senate race. The primary is August 11th. Mr. McKinney, thank you for talking to WisconsinEye, sir.
Thank you for having me, Steve.
Stay safe. Thank you.
All right, you too.
Campaign 2020 is sponsored by Wisconsin Hospital Association, Quick Trip, Wisconsin Counties Association, Wisconsin Realtors Association, and Wisconsin Operating Engineers Local 139.